My husband of 20 years suddenly went to Turkey during the pandemic, so I checked his phone and was shocked by what I found. I don't even know how to start this because honestly, I feel like I'm losing my damn mind trying to make sense of it all. So here's the thing. I met Jason when I was just 19. I was young, so freaking young, living on Sakhalin, this tiny island in Russia if you've never heard of it, minding my own business, going to school, just doing life. Then Jason comes along, stationed there for work, and God, I thought he was the best thing to ever happen to me. We got married, like really quick, maybe too quick, but you know how it is when you're young and in love. You don't think straight. He was this American guy, so smart with that charm that just knocks you over. I didn't stand a chance. We moved to the States and life started, like it was a fairy tale for a while. I became an accountant. Jason was working as an engineer. We had a nice house, 2 cars, all that. We were doing great, or at least I thought so. Then I got pregnant with Maddie, and man, I was scared as hell. I didn't know what to expect, but Jason was over the moon. He couldn't stop talking about being a dad, all these plans he had for the future with the kids. It was kind of adorable, you know? Like we're in this together, figuring it out. When Maddie was born, everything changed. I mean, everything. It was the hardest but also the best time of our lives. Sleepless nights, diapers everywhere, baby bottles, toys. It was chaos. But Jason was such a hands-on dad. He loved that kid to pieces. He'd come home from work, and the first thing he'd do is scoop her up, make all these ridiculous faces at her until she'd start laughing. And man, watching that, it made me fall in love with him all over again. Then came Zoe, and it was the same story. I thought, wow, we really have it all. Maddie was around 3 when Zoe was born, and watching them grow up together, those were some of the best years. Jason would take them to the park every weekend, no matter what. I remember one time, Maddie fell off the swing and scraped her knee, and Jason just swooped in, calmed her down like it was nothing. He was their hero. They'd play hide and seek for hours, Jason chasing them around the house until they were all breathless from laughing. I swear, looking back now, remembering all that makes what happened even worse. Like, how could he do this to us after all that? But here's the thing nobody tells you about marriage. After 20 years, you realize you don't really know someone as well as you think you do. There were fights, sure. God, we fought. Stupid stuff like leaving dishes in the sink, who was going to pick up the kids, money stress, normal married people crap. But we always made up. Like, no matter what. At the end of the day, I knew he loved me and I loved him. Or at least, I thought I did. I thought we had something solid. You know, I trusted him with everything. 20 goddamn years and then this. So COVID hit and everything went downhill. I'm still working at the hospital as an accountant and Jason's home, working remotely. I thought, well, maybe this is good, more time with the girls, more time together. But nah, he started acting all sketchy, glued to his computer, closing the screen every time I walked by. And I thought, what the hell? But I let it go. Maybe he's just stressed, right? People were losing their jobs, the world was going to hell, it made sense. Then he drops this bomb on me, saying he has to go to Turkey for work, during a pandemic. Turkey. Are you freaking kidding me? I was mad, but I didn't say anything because he's traveled for work before, so I figured it was just another trip. But then Zoe got sick, and I texted him, telling him she might need to go to the hospital, and he replies with, "You're already there, and that's enough." What kind of father says that? Right then, I knew something was up. My stomach just dropped. So I checked his iPad. I never did that before. Never thought I'd be the type to go snooping. But there was this gut feeling like something wasn't right. And guess what? I was right. I find all these messages. He's been talking to these Russian girls like he's single, telling them he's looking for a wife, buying plane tickets to meet them in Turkey. I don't even know how I held it together when I saw all that. 3 of them. He bought 3 separate tickets, planning to meet each of them. One of them already met him. Jesus Christ. I don't even know how long I sat on the floor crying, just trying to make sense of it all. How does someone do that after 20 years? How does someone lie to your face for months and act like everything's fine? I was shaking, couldn't even breathe, couldn't move. Just staring at the screen, reading those messages over and over. When he got back, he tried to explain it away, said it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, that he had a porn addiction. I wanted to punch him in the face. He begged me to forgive him, said he still loved me, but I couldn't. How the hell do you come back from that? After everything we built together all those years, how do you look at someone the same way again? We tried to make it work for the girls. We went to therapy, talked it out. He promised he'd change, but it was too late. The damage was done. And eventually, he moved out. But it's not just about me. The girls, Maddie and Zoe, they've been through hell because of this. Maddie, she's tough. She's always been the strong one. Acts like it doesn't bother her, but I know it does. She's 17 now, almost an adult, but she still needs her dad. She doesn't talk about him much anymore. Tries to keep things light, making jokes like she always does. But I can see it in her eyes. She's hurt and she's pissed. But Zoe's 14 now, and she took it the hardest. She was always Jason's little shadow, always by his side. She adored him. They'd go fishing together, just the two of them, and he'd teach her everything about tying knots and baiting hooks. I think she loved those moments more than anything in the world. Now she barely talks. She used to be this bubbly, outgoing kid, always smiling, always laughing. Now, she's quiet, withdrawn. She won't even look at me sometimes, like she blames me for what happened. And maybe she does. Maybe she thinks I should have done something to stop it. But how could I? I didn't know. I hear her crying at night. She tries to hide it, but I can hear her through the walls. She's so heartbroken, and there's nothing I can do to fix it. Nothing. How do you fix something like that?